If it doesn't suit your business or your brand,
Hmm.
don't get sucked into going on sale or having an offer or having to do all the things. You don't have to, and that's okay.
Stop and don't spend another single cent on advertising until you listen to this. I'm Marianne Amies. This is Ready, Set, Paid Ads, digital marketing for paid ad success. Let's go. Welcome back to another episode of Ready, Set, Paid Ads. Today I'm talking to Tenai Seymour, the founder and driving force behind Ads Haus. At Ads Haus, they do ads differently. And that's all about collaboration, clarity, and campaigns that work as hard as the people behind them. In today's chat, we delve into the world of meta ads, and we also talk about Spotify ads, which is a little bit of an unfound gem that Tenai shares wisdom in and really encourages us to try Spotify ads and find a place for them, a new way to interject, a new way to get in front of our ideal client in an unexpected and often quite engaging way. It's a great chat full of lots of insights, and I hope you'll enjoy it. I'm joined today by Tenai Seymour from Ads Haus. How are you?
I'm well. How are you?
I'm so good, thank you. It's a beautiful day here in Sydney today. Do you want to kick off, Tenai, by just introducing yourself and telling everyone about you?
So my name is Tenai Seymour. I'm the founder of Ads Haus. We specialise, and by we, it's a team of me, myself, and I, specialise in Meta mostly and Spotify ads.
Amazing.
So I offer consulting, coaching, and a little bit of done with you management services.
Fantastic. Awesome. Well, in these episodes, I always ask the question, but it seems a little bit obvious here, and that is, do you ads?
Well, I hope so. Otherwise, it'd be rather awkward.
You're like, no, actually, I've never logged on to Ads Manager before. I boost on Instagram.
Oh, as my eye twitches.
Tell me a little bit about how you found yourself in the wonderful world of ads management.
I did marketing and psychology at uni, and I never had any interest in being a psychologist, but I was really fascinated by human behavior and why we take certain actions and how the brain actually works in response to certain triggers. So whilst I had enough of marketing and all of that in uni and decided to go off and wrangle cattle for quite a while, I came back to it and went into agency land, and I learned very quickly. I was thrown in the deep end with meta ads, and unfortunately I think that's the case in a lot of agencies, that the junior is handed over accounts and they learn in client accounts. And it was a sort of a case of sink or swim, and I luckily swam and decided that I kind of liked this mix of creativity but backed by data as well, and all of those data insights. So it appealed to my creative side, but also like the data nerd in me was like absolutely loving it.
I can relate so much to that, just in terms of the mix of creative and analytics. Like, I think that's what I kind of love about all of the digital marketing, because I'm a bit of a, numbers nerd. And I also am very kind of, I was going to say airy-fairy, but it's not the right word. But I'm very creative and very conceptual, and that things don't have to be hard. I'm very intuitive and those sorts of things. And I do think digital marketing can be a really great intersection of those two things.
Why? Like, I think there's so many opportunities to, test. Like, I love a good A/B test, but then actually having that data to back, okay, I think this is happening. Well, what you think is great, but let's have a look at the data, and is that marrying up with what you actually thought, or is it telling us something completely different?
I think that's so true. And I mean, test is the perfect word. I know it's so frustrating for clients when every answer you give them is, we have to test and see. How much do I need to spend? Well, we won't know until we test it. What results can I expect? Well, we won't really know until we test it, because it is 100% all testing and learning. No two accounts perform the same. No two industries. There's so many variables. And if you don't have that I guess it's almost like that passion of a lifelong learner, right? Then it is very hard. You can't be too rigid going into ads management.
Right, not at all. And I think like with all the updates that are coming through Meta, particularly the one around creative diversity
Yeah.
recently, like that's changing the game completely. And like that's only rolled out in the last week, whenever you're listening to
Mm.
this podcast. But yeah, I just think even when you feel like you've got a handle on things and you have some what I call known knowns,
Yeah.
then meta will change or something will change. And then you have to flip the script and you have to pivot rather than just trudging down with that same strategy too.
100%. I'm giving a presentation in about a month. It's in November. So I should also qualify depending when you listen to this. In November. And I was asked to hand in the presentation by September on Facebook ads and Facebook ads for 2026. And I said, I will prepare this and I will give it to you. But there is every chance that Meta will completely throw everything out the window and my
Yep.
whole presentation's not even relevant. And luckily, I based it a lot on Andromeda, which is still the key theme. But in it, I did a slide on all the changes I've lived through in Meta since I started in 2010. It was just like, I was like, if there's one thing that I am not afraid of anymore, it is change via Mark Zuckerberg. Because I've
Yes.
pivoted, adapted, learned, rebuilt, and that goes with like managing ads, but it goes with services. Like as a digital agency, you touched on it just then. 6 months ago, the best skills you could have as a ads manager would have been deep analytics, deep data interpretation.
Yep.
Now all of a sudden, you need creativity. And
Yep.
although you and I love both, not every ads manager loves both.
I also think it changes the way that, particularly for small businesses, how they prioritize their marketing. We were having this discussion the other day. So I run a small group membership and I've gone against downloads or videos or modules or anything like that. And we actually have live sessions because for that exact same reason, things change all the time. You need to be able to pivot. And we sort of discussed the changes that come from this creative update and how Meta's actually categorizing different forms of creativity and what that means for small business. And it was interesting because a couple of the girls in my group, one, they both run their own business, like they don't have employees or support or anything like that. One's very creatively driven. She's like, this is great. I love this. I have so many ideas. The other one was like twitching in her seat going, I'm struggling already. I don't have the bandwidth to actually think of how to be more creative with this. So I just think from a budget point of view, I think it comes down to small businesses in particular prioritizing if they don't have that creativity set or they don't have the room, then they can outsource that part there. So focus on what they do best and then find somebody to help with the skill set that they don't necessarily have.
Yeah, I think that's fantastic advice. And I was just thinking as you were speaking, you know, it's really interesting. Like if you think it's almost like we inadvertently work for this big organization called Meta and we don't get told, like we're not brought into the managers meeting to say, hey guys, we're thinking of shifting. And from now on, like the analytical stuff's not going to be in the skill set we need. It's crazy. Like we just get these changes thrust upon us. And even as an agency, right through to a small business owner, like all of a sudden there's completely different skill sets that you need to grasp and grab. And we're told now that creative volume is important as well as diversity, whereas before it was 3 or 4 and now it's sort of like 10, 15. And again, the pressure that not just volume, but diverse volume. So no more just duplicating the same image and changing the headline a little bit. It's so heavy into an area that we got no warning of, you know, no warning, no ability to go 3 months from now, this change is coming. Let's upskill, let's change, let's budget. You know, these things tend to come out of, especially if you're not hyper engaged in the segment, tend to come out of the blue and they've happened. And all of a sudden, you need to change your whole approach.
Exactly. And I think as an ads manager, like I manage a few accounts, I have to do that testing and that learning So I can then go,
Yeah.
okay, I have tested this. I know this strategy is going to be best for you, but there's going to be the bumpy road in between
Yeah.
because I'm at the same point as what my clients are
Yeah.
and what everybody else is going, okay, well, what do those rollouts actually
Yeah.
mean? What do they look like and how do they impact not only the strategy, but then the requirements from the client to
Mm.
produce the creative or what that looks like moving forward. So yeah, fun times.
I know.
Fun times.
And you touched on it before, a lot of agencies throw it to the junior or if somebody starts with no experience, they have to learn. And I think my approach there is I always use our account. I'm sort of like, we can do whatever we want with our business ads. Like that's where you can test, that's where you can learn, that's where you can fail. And then we can roll that out to client accounts. But we're not an e-com, we're an agency. So again, we can only test the kind of realm of ads that make sense for us and learn from that. But there's no testing environment. You just sort of
Exactly.
kind of go, okay, so over here you can simulate some tests, learn, and then you can push those live. And I think if you're an ethical person, and I know not all agency owners and ad managers are, there is a real responsibility. You're spending someone's money. You're
Correct.
spending someone's money. You're also, I always say, like, the cost of failed ads isn't just the money you invested, it's the traction you lost. Like, it's a lost opportunity. It's a lost budget. It's a lost time. Like, that is so much responsibility for, people running other people's ads, should they choose to take the responsibility on. But it is huge.
Also, I feel like not that it's wasted learnings, but you're effectively going into a whole new realm of unknown knowns. So you have to start that testing phase again and go and base it off past learnings. But
Yeah.
sometimes those past learnings aren't relevant. So yeah, you mentioned before we feel like that we're employees of Meta. Well, I'd like a pay rise. I think Meta.
And better benefits.
Yeah, exactly.
and someone to talk to.
Yeah.
We always joke on here about for a multi-billion-dollar company how hard it is to just get one little bit of email support. They just make it so hard.
Shocking. But I think it's exciting. And I think from a consumer experience point of view, I think it's really good because there is a lot of same out there. And there has been no real push to change that. And I think it's going to make the platform more engaging and more visually stimulating rather than the same UGC or the same image types as well.
Yeah, you're so right. And I think the whole dawn of ads I see as a step towards quality and a step towards metering the feed as well. Even though people sort of go, oh, once we got ads and we had all these ads in it, it's like, yeah, but you do find things that work for you. And the better the ads get, again, the better that experience will get. I always joke, if I'm looking for a present for my husband, I just go look for one version of something and then I let all the ads come in and serve me. Or I'll say to him, are you looking for XYZ at the moment? Because I'm getting all these ads on my feed. So I feel like you looked at something and now it's influencing my feed. But that is what a wonderful time-saving solution if the algorithm can know me so personally and know what I need, and the ads are of such a high engaging quality that then when I go to my feed, as you said, it's engaging me, it's exciting, it's useful, it's saving me time. Like that is wonderful as a user.
Exactly. And I think that's what it sort of comes down to. Like they're social platforms. They were created to be engaging, to be social. And then when meta ads came into play, they started to drift away from that and they started to be more commercialized.
Yeah.
And I think they're just they still obviously want to be commercialized because they make a lot of money out of it, but they're trying to do it in a more user-friendly way to the consumer.
Yeah. And because at the end of the day, what they want is retention.
Exactly.
They want retention of attention. They want they want the metrics that make advertisers go, yes, I will spend more. And if the people go because the platform is crappy, then the businesses actually lose out as well.
Exactly.
We've talked a lot about meta ads. I'd love to talk about Spotify ads because, as I said to you before we got on, it's not something that I think a lot of people are talking about.
I don't think many people talk about it at all. And for me, I think it's this awesome secret
Yeah.
that is underutilized, particularly in small business.
Mm.
And it's a relatively untapped market and a really great marketing tool for small business to get in front of their ideal customer at a really low rate. You only need to start with a minimum $250 to run a campaign on
Wow.
Spotify.
Yeah.
So from that point of view and the reach that you get, it does work in a different way to Meta ads. It's very much top of funnel awareness and planting the seed, but then it helps other marketing platforms like Meta ads, like Google ads, like all of those bits and pieces, because they're already product, problem, whatever aware. But if you think about it, we are so visually fatigued at the moment. We get served ads on Facebook, ads on Instagram, ads on Pinterest, TikTok, Google, TV, all sorts of things. So people generally tend to lean into audio when they still want to consume information, but in a less direct kind of way. So we listen to podcasts, we listen to audiobooks, we listen to music. So Spotify taps into a different type of connection. So when you're consuming that information, you're looking for that dopamine hit in a different way.
Yeah.
And I think if you're in a different mindset, you sometimes will pay attention to what's being said, either consciously or subconsciously, on a different level. And you can be really creative. So they have real-time ads, which means you can target people based on what they're doing at that time. So say I'm selling water and I want to target people who are listening to playlists, like workout playlists or something along those lines. I could speak to them in their AirPods or in their headphones, being like, I see you working out, like doing a great job. Maybe it's time for a water break. So I'm talking to them in real time and connecting with what they're at or what they're doing at that point, which is so much more powerful and impactful at a really, really low cost. So Spotify ads are a lot bigger, obviously, in the States. The issue with Spotify ads is obviously it's not open to people who pay for premium. The percentage of people in Australia who have premium Spotify is a lot lower than that in the States, which is good. Well, for advertisers anyway. It's a mixture of audio and visual that you can run some really cool tests. There are some bumpy bits particularly with apps and data collection, because it has to go through a third party, obviously. But I think it's a really cool platform, and I think it's really handy for small to medium-sized businesses who want to test something differently.
Yeah, I think it's fascinating, and it's not that it's unskippable. Like, I know you can skip it, but it feels that there's a lot more barriers to skipping, right? If you're working out and this kind of comes in to stop, and the ad's only going to be like 15, 30 seconds, so you tend to tolerate it. I have premium Spotify, but when I listen to podcasts where they have paid ads, sponsors, I don't often skip it. Or I may, if I know the podcast and I'm like, oh, okay, this is their ad time, maybe I will. But if it's quick, and even when you're driving, you can't always get to the scrub button, all those sorts of things. And if you're not expecting a volume, I think sometimes with social media, you're in stories and then you've got the ad story and another ad story, and you're kind of like, oh, this is really like starting to irritate me. I think it's really, really interesting. And I don't think it's something that people are talking about. And you're right, for top of funnel, and if you can niche in that way by category and again, then by inferred activity, I think it's really exciting.
So I ran a test, as I do. I always run tests for myself because I just wanted to see what impact it actually had. And I think I spent, I'm going to say, under $300 on the campaign test. And I called my campaign Ad Dabbler. Are you an ad dabbler? So you're giving it a go, not quite sure what you're doing, and then just linking back to saying, here at Ads Haus, that's what we help with, blah, blah, blah. I ended up converting 2 customers or clients from that Spotify ad because they heard it driving in the car, listening to a podcast, and it connected with where they were at. Now,
Wow.
it's come a long way since I did those tests. They were probably 2 years ago now. So now you can actually target based on specific podcasts. Beforehand, you couldn't.
Yeah.
So when you get to that sort of level, it makes a huge difference. And I think it's unexpected as well. So you are going to pay attention more to something along those lines.
Yeah, 100%. And again, as you said before, like if you can get hyper personal in that message based on what they're listening to, you're going to sit up and pay attention because it feels like I would imagine in some way it would almost feel quite native because it's talking directly to you. Yeah, that's super exciting. I do think it is an untapped gem. I do think you'll have people coming to you after this show to ask you more because it's not one that people are talking about. We've been looking a lot at Cassie at the digital billboards. I don't know if you've had a chance to look in that. Ads manager is very similar to all the other ads managers. And when I start to talk to clients about, we could also run a digital billboards campaign like a meta campaign, they find that so exciting because I think people are looking for what else is out there.
Exactly. Something different, something outside the box that not everybody else is doing. And I think one thing that some clients get scared of, they're like, do I have to film my own voice? Nobody likes the sound of their own voice.
Agree.
Everyone's sitting there going, sing it, girlfriend. But they do voiceover actors.
Yeah.
And you can stipulate mature Australian woman or young English girl or something along those lines. So there are options there. And they've got royalty-free music that you can put behind, which obviously changes the vibe of what the ad is sort of trying to say. So there's heaps of tests that you can do with that. But again, it's not conversion driven. It is that top of funnel, planting the seed, making them think about something. And everybody, if you don't have premium Spotify, you're going to be listening to the ads that are going on now. There's a lot of KFC ads that always happen to be, and again, in real time, around school pickup or afterwards when you're craving a snack and KFC's popping in your ears telling you about whatever deals that they have right now.
I love that. They've obviously also thought, let's get when the kids are in the car and they're going to start demanding things. So let's just have that little ad just to plant that seed for the kids. And they're like, I want KFC. What's for dinner? I don't want that. I want KFC.
Exactly.
Genius marketing.
There was, and it's funny because I'm attuned to Spotify ads, so I'm always interested when they come on. I never skip them because the data nerd in me just wants to know what's happening. There was one, I'm going to say it was from Coles, and their catchphrase on the Spotify ads was, "What's for dinner?" And my 4-year-old, she now gets in the car, and if she starts to hear the music, she goes, "What's for dinner?" at Coles. So that's that subliminal messaging. Yeah. They've got into my 4-year-old's head already.
Yeah. Yeah. And again, I think also that linking music, I think in terms of conditioning and all those, again, psychological principles, music is I think of Pavlov's conditioning, of course, but music is a prompt, right? It's like you think you don't know all these old songs and it gets 2 bars in and you know every word to that 1990s R&B hit. It's ingrained somewhere in your brain. Yeah, which again, there's not that power with a Facebook ad. There's not that power with a Google ad. It's a very different experience.
Exactly. And as I said before, you usually lean into audio to still consume some form of entertainment or information, but you're visually fatigued. So you're looking to consume it in a different way.
Yeah, I love it. Oh, that's fantastic. Very, very interesting. I'm just thinking, as we touched on, it's the middle of October. And I think by the time this episode goes live, I think we will be in November. And it's about to be peak ad season. So maybe before we wrap up, I'd love to hear maybe a couple of tips you've got or things for people to focus on as we hit the peak of ad exhaustion and ad saturation for the next 2 months?
If it doesn't suit your business or your brand, don't get sucked into going on sale or having an offer or having to do all the things. You don't have to, and that's okay. I also think that consumers are becoming a lot smarter, and particularly with the economy, that preparation happens months in advance. I know for myself, we're looking at getting new blinds for the house. So I've already ordered my samples. I know the brand. I'm waiting for that Black Friday sale.
Yeah.
So like I did that in September. So I'm prepared.
Yeah.
And I'm just waiting for that time period. So I think that's a consumer trend that you need to, and it's probably late now if you're listening in November, but think about
Sorry,
this
guys.
in the future. Sorry. But yeah, just being aware of not being pressured to go into that sale madness if it doesn't suit your brand at all. And that preparation really is key. And thinking about how consumers are actually shopping these days, I think that's a really big one for me.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. I often think if it's just because I'm a digital marketer, but I do that when I'm planning other clients' marketing calendars and I see, oh, there's After Payday, there's Click Frenzy, there's this, that. I'll say to my husband, oh, don't buy that yet. Just wait. Because on the 11th of November's Click Frenzy. Just wait.
Exactly.
See what happens. And I do it too. Like if it's a bigger purchase, especially, and I can wait, I wait because I know how big a focus it is. But I think you're so right to not go into that pressure and also recognize during that period, ad costs will rise and ad engagement will drop. So unless you need to be advertising and if you're not doing the sales, maybe don't advertise then because people are in that mode to shop sales. And your beautiful branded, elevated ad may just get zero cut through because it doesn't have a big, horrible sales sticker on top of it. And go to email. I know it's funny over the years, the journey email has been on from forgotten dorky cousin to now like glorified goddess again. But go back to email and use the list you own that you can for free access and do a lot there if you're not on sale and back down on your ads almost because it is such a saturated time. Or reach out to Tenai and go to Spotify ads because there's probably less clutter there.
I think you're like totally on the money with that one. And I think a final thing that I would probably say is, and this is what I say to my clients all the time, what next? So you've got all these new people in. If you are doing the sale, you've got all these new people in, probably first purchases. What next? How are you going to nurture them and then carry that through to increase that lifetime customer value or to make that experience like really memorable that they become brand loyal to?
Yeah. That is such a important message because sacrificing margin for sales, sometimes this has to happen. But then what are you doing to exactly what you said, make that a lifelong customer and recover it, recoup it. Yeah, not just go after that one sale and then forget or not even, what's your next launch and all those things. I had a client, they were looking to put a GWP out at the start of November and I was like, hold that GWP for the start of December because on 1 December, people are going to have done what they're going to do and they're going to need more reason to convert. So like, let's move it all the way back there. And then hopefully we have, been exposed to new people, whether they signed up and didn't buy or they bought, let's give them another reason. So I think that's a fantastic, really, really important piece of advice as well. Thank you.
That's right. I had a brand and they're quite a big brand and I actually sent them an email on Black Friday and I just said, as an ads manager, I just wanted to let you know I loved this particular ad and it actually made me buy from you, blah, blah, blah. Obviously, peak period, they didn't respond to me for probably about 3 weeks, which is completely understandable. And they came back and they said, oh, this is so-and-so. That was actually me in the ad. So thank you for letting me know. And like getting that email, I was like, I feel special because it was a big brand. But not only that, in January or December, one or the other, they actually sent me a package of branded goods and just said, thanks for sharing the good vibes to the people in our
Oh,
office. I am like 100% brand loyal to that brand
yeah.
now because of
Yeah.
that interaction
Oh,
that they
yeah.
didn't have to do. So
Yeah.
that didn't really cost them anything, but it changed my complete perception of that brand. So you don't have to be like doing big ticket items and like
Mm.
grand gestures. It's
Yeah.
those little things that can make a big difference for brand loyalty moving forward.
Oh, 100%. And that experience, the experience that
Mm.
stands out, that's unique, that doesn't feel automated and generated and,
Hmm.
like you're in a flow.
Exactly. Exactly.
Oh, that's fantastic. Well, thank you so much. It's been such a great chat. I feel like we've covered a lot of ground in a
A
short
lot.
amount of time. Tanae, where are people best to reach out and connect to you?
You can visit me at adshaus.com.au, ADSHAUS, because I'm a little bit fancy like that. I'm also on Instagram and Facebook. So if you have any questions, always feel free to shoot me a DM on Instagram. That's where I hang out mostly. I don't bite. I'm pretty friendly most of the time. And I just like people to feel confident with
Mm.
ads. They're not as scary as they need to be.
Yeah.
And yeah, just have fun with it.
I love that. Well, thank you so much for your time today. And to everybody else, I hope to talk to you again soon.
Thank you so much.
That's a wrap on another episode of Ready, Set, Paid Ads. If you're looking for done-for-you services, training to upskill you in ads management, or free and paid resources to help you plan and execute better ads, head to wiseupmarketing.com.au. If you've loved this episode, be sure to subscribe for future episodes. And if you know someone that would love this podcast too, go on and share it.